Right, we're going to do the float coat now. This base coat's probably been on for about 2 weeks. It's took some drying out in this building. We've done the top coat. I haven't done it. Lads have done it. They've worked it down to here. And this time they've left me an edge to go on. The float coat mix is exactly the same as the base coat. So if you want to watch that video, link down below. In the base coat video, you've seen that we put the grid float over it and scratched it with the lath scratcher. This is the kind of finish you want when it's scratched up as a base coat. You see these big grooves, I can get my little finger in them, and that's what you're looking for. Nice big grooves. Got a bit of cracking in that base coat that's been beat back, but overall there's not a lot of cracking that's gone on. It's probably about 10, 12 mil, maybe 15 mil in places thick. The way I tell if the base coat is ready to accept the float coat is basically you can press it with your thumb, and if it takes some effort to make a little indent in it, I describe it as cold blue tack. It's then ready for, you see we're just indenting it, it's ready then for the float coat to go on it. You see this up here, that's not ready yet because obviously it's way too soft, and if that was a base coat I wouldn't put my float coat on it. That's why we're not skim coating that. So we'll do exactly the same for this. We'll wait till it stops cracking, wait till it really got to push on to get that indent ready for the next coat. Float coat exactly the same as the base coat, got plenty of air in there. And it's exactly the same principle as the base coat. We're not looking to put a huge amount on all in one hit. We want to push it right down into the groove of that base coat. Stop, stop, stop. I'll just go and show you what happens again. We didn't get a good demo on the last one. If you just go and put a big float coat on, like that, you see we haven't stuck into, but you see it's dry as a bone in there. So I'm not bothered about what it looks like or anything. The only thing I wanted to do is just get it tight coat on the wall, and we'll worry about levelling it. Not that you want to do too much levelling on this coat, that should have already all been done on the base coat. This is what you find with grit sand, rocks in it. And that's prepped up now. And then what we'll do is we'll just build this out as we need to. There's a float coat to match what the lads have done. But I'm not too bothered about messing with it. All I want to do at this stage, again, is just put it on the wall, get it somewhere near, and then we can mess around with it once it's on the wall. And I think when training beginners, and I've done enough of them, that's the one thing that everybody tries to do. There's a rock in here somewhere. That's the one thing everybody tries to do, is get it too level too quick, and you don't need to. On this building, we're not too worried about having everything smooth, as in the terms of level. We're going for a vernacular finish on this, which probably like most cottages. It's not until you get into Georgian and Victorian buildings where you're going to have to start ruling off, and that's a total different video. The rock. And I wouldn't generally put too much water on it. If it has dried out, you can generally tell. Spray a bit of water on it and it'll let you know if you need to wet it or not. I tried it earlier with this and it didn't accept any, as in didn't change colour, and because it was still soft, you generally don't need to wet it, but it just depends if you're using a hot mix lime plaster like this, or using an NHL lime plaster, or a hybrid with a bit of both in. You'll all get different times, but we've got no hydraulic set in this. Yeah, that's it, we're on. So I'll get rid of that because I don't want to be carrying that, or I want to be carrying it as little as possible because it's heavy. And there's enough material on this wall now just to manipulate what's there, and this is what you get, stones in it, but we've got some fairly large aggregate in there. This is probably like a 3mm down piece of stone, which is that big. So you see that will fit in my finger in them grooves, whereas if you did it with a scratch comb, it won't fit in. So all I'm doing now is just pulling material. We've got a little hollow spot there, so I'll just pull a bit off there, put it on there, got a hollow spot there, pull a bit off there, put that in there, and I'm floating both ways as well, so we'll go across the wall, and that shows where the hollows are horizontally, and then we'll also float it vertically as well. See, we've got a hollow there, we've got a lump there, so just drag a bit off that, put it in there. Still got a hollow there. I'll tie this edge up afterwards. Along with the bottom as well. I've got a hollow here that's been highlighted. And all I'm doing as I'm floating over this lime plaster, I'm just looking for any hollows, and you can generally see them. You've got a good eye for it. That's it, don't mess with it. We're done. I'd leave that for 24 hours, maybe 48 hours. You just feel it, how it goes. And then just a urethane float. Some boys put screws through them. This one has had screws through, but it doesn't now. What I find, if you scratch it with screws in on your float coat, them screw lines that's been created in it, the wavy lines, will hew through the top coat plaster. If you're using like a lime putty based silica sand or hot mix silica sand top coat plaster, you get differential drying because you've got different thicknesses where the plaster has actually gone into the screw indents. You end up, the top layer dries quicker and the screw indents don't dry as quick and it shows through. So I just don't do it. It's not worth it. If you've got something that's going to set, you could do. So generally I'd leave this now. I wouldn't go over it so soon, but we will do. I mean, there's no stopping you doing it just to flatten it off and then go back over it after. But this finish that you're seeing, that this float's made, that is a good enough key for the lime plaster top coat to stick to. It doesn't need to be anything more than that. And what you generally find is, if it's a bit drier, it will rip up some of that aggregate in there as well. So this is one that we've rubbed up on another wall, and you'll see we've got all these little indents that the aggregate in the float coat's created. So I don't want to rub it too much because it'll smooth it off. But all the top coat lime plaster will go into these little grooves and divots and bind to that really well. Nothing difficult about it, and excellent for beginners because you've got so much time with it. Not like a gypsum that's going to go in 20 minutes. You can mess around with this tomorrow, later on, as much as you want. It'll give us time to sort this angle out. We'll put a board down there and we'll just prep that corner up and get down to that bottom edge as well. Tidy that up. You'll see on this float coat where we've indented it, where it's got a little bit of cracking in it. So what we'll generally do is just pull some of the fat off that and then just run over it. and level it out. Right, that's it. Floor coat. So easy. Catch you on the top coat.